Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 20th meeting of the 146th Council of the Corporation of the City of St. Thomas. A beautiful day for those of you who were able to be out in it today. Do we have any disclosures of interest from any of the members? Seeing none, we'll move on to minutes.
Thank you, Your Worship. First item are the minutes from the May 19th meeting, that the minutes from the meeting held on May 19, 2026 be confirmed. Moved by Councillor Baldwin-Sands, seconded by Councillor Gibson.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. Council will now resolve itself into Committee of the Whole, deal with the following business. We have reports from 4 committees tonight. The first item pertains to municipal contribution towards Fresh Start Support Services, House of Homes, and a motion that reads that report SESS 0926 relating to the municipal contribution towards Fresh Start Support Services, House of Homes, be received for information, and further that Council authorize the Acting Director of Social Services to execute the municipal service agreement, and further that Council authorize the Mayor and Clerk to sign the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation's Consent and Acknowledgement Agreement. Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Taylor.
Questions or comments on the report? Seeing that, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. We have a few items of information under this committee tonight. The first is Committee of Adjustment, Notice of Decision, Minor Variance, 8 Hammond Street. Notice of a decision has been received from the Committee of Adjustment to permit the location and use of 45% of the front yard and side yard as parking lot, parking space, and residential driveway, whereas the zoning bylaw provides that the maximum front yard and side yard coverage shall not exceed 25%, and to permit a 1.5 meter high garbage enclosure fence in the front yard, whereas the maximum front yard fence height is 1 meter at 8 Hammond Street. The second item tonight is Committee of Adjustment Notice of a Decision, Minor Variance, 352 Wellington Street. Notice of a decision has been received from the Committee of Adjustment to permit the construction of an addition on the south side of the existing legal non-conforming building, being Wellington Variety at 352 Wellington Street. The next item is Committee of Adjustment Notice of Decision, Minor Variance, 30 South Edgware Road. Notice of a decision has been received from the Committee of Adjustment to permit the location and use of 32.4% of the front yard and side yard as residential driveway, whereas the zoning bylaw provides that the maximum front yard and side yard coverage for parking lots, parking space, or residential driveways shall not exceed 25% at 30 South Edgware Road. The last item under this committee is Notice of Decision, Committee of Adjustment, Consent, 161 Fairview Avenue. Notice of a decision has been received from the Committee of Adjustment to sever 2 residential building lots and retain a 3rd residential building lot to facilitate the development of 3 single detached dwellings, each containing 3 additional residential units for a total of 12 units at 161 Fairview Avenue. Your Worship, the next committee tonight is Community Engagement and Services. Item under new business relates to the 2026 Seniors Picnic in the Park free transit request, and a motion that reads that report ES 2926 relating to the 2026 Seniors Picnic in the Park free transit request be received for information, and further that Council waive the transit fare for seniors on July 8th, 2026 and authorize the additional bus supply. Moved by Councillor Kohler, seconded by Councillor Gibson.
Questions or comments on the report? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried.
Worship, second item under this committee is an item relating to Nostalgia Nights Car Show 2026 road closure request, and a motion that reads that report ES 2826 relating to the Nostalgia Nights Car Show 2026 road closure request be received for information, and further that Council authorize the closure of the road sections identified in report ES 2826 on Saturday, July 11, 2026 between the hours of 12 p.m. and 10 p.m. to allow for the Nostalgia Nights Car Show. Moved by Councillor Taylor, seconded by Councillor Gibson.
Great. Questions or comments? You're an easy group tonight. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. Third and final item under this committee is an item pertaining to Parks, Recreation, and Library Partnership Initiatives. Motion that reads that report PR 1826 relating to the Parks, Recreation, and Library Partnership Initiatives be received for information. Moved by Councillor Baldwin Sands, seconded by Councillor Clark.
Questions or comments? Councillor Baldwin Sands.
What a great
I
idea.
knew we couldn't go the whole night, but thank you.
I just think this is a fabulous idea. It's a
Yes.
great idea all around, and I commend the staff for coming up with this initiative and just request if there's anything that they would like to add to the report with the public watching tonight, that they could express those opinions now.
I see we kind of put library and parks together. Are you going to become one department or no? They're great to see you working together. Any thoughts you want to share with the people at home tonight?
Thank you, Your Worship. Through Your Worship to Councillor Baldwin Sands. I just want to introduce Dakota Smith here, who is our manager in charge of programs and outreach right now. And Dakota can maybe say a few words about what's going on this summer.
Perfect.
Through Your Worship to Council, the library is really excited to be partnering with Parks and Recreation this summer to be providing park activations throughout the city. We'll be engaging with the public while we're out in the parks throughout the summer. We'll also be working with the camps that are operating out of the summer, out of the parks. And we also will be launching our summer reading club in the park at the start of July. So we're really excited to do that. We're going to be set up at the Story Walk at Pinafore Park for the first Monday, Tuesday of July. So we're just very excited to be working with the Parks Department and all of their support throughout this process. It's been great.
Yeah. Councillor Clark?
Thanks, Your Worship. I thought it was also important to note that you're visiting a number of the housing projects and getting right into neighborhoods where kids may not have access to transportation to get uptown to the libraries. So with only one library location, it's great that you're going out to them.
Great. Councillor Taylor?
And it's commendable about the van that the library has. And if you may know, I'm fairly involved in the Optimus Santa Claus parade. For the first time in my life, they went into the parade this year.
Yes.
And for the first time in my life, I never thought I'd ever hear these words, yells from the crowd, "Yay, library." So they were very well noticed, and getting the van out and about is positive for our downtown and for our St. Thomas.
Perfect. Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Everybody's in favor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Worship. Next committee tonight is Infrastructure and Civic Operations. We have two items. First pertains to an item regarding to school crossing guard policy, and a motion that reads that report ES 2726 relating to the school crossing guard policy be received for information. And further, that council endorse MUN-PW-311 included as attachment 1 to report ES 2726. And further, that council authorize the deployment of a school crossing guard at the intersection of Peachtree Boulevard and Raven Avenue starting in September 2026. Moved by Councillor Wookey, seconded by Councillor Gibson.
Thank you. Questions or comments on the report? Two-part report here. Go ahead, Councillor Wookey.
Thanks, Your Worship. This is a crazy busy intersection, very close to a school. There's a ton of traffic going through there. I always ask, okay, what's the bar for when we put in an automated PEDX crossing, like a flashing light or something else? I don't know whether this would be a stopgap measure as like a crossing guard, or until we do that, or whether this would be a more permanent thing there. Because I always go back to my favorite, meaning my least favorite one at Fairview and Forest Ave, which is super dangerous. And we still need a lighted ped cross there. But I'm just wondering, is this a temp thing until we do something else, or is this the plan going forward in the foreseeable future? Thank you.
Who do I get? Mr. Dealerbeck? I do.
You get me tonight, Mayor Preston, and through you to Councillor Wookey. This particular location, so let me back that up first. The policy that we were working with was a bit dated, and so we needed to modernize that. So that's what we've done. Under the old policy, this location wouldn't justify a crossing guard, but as staff, we felt that it was warranted given, as you indicated, the volume of traffic and students crossing. So we introduced the exposure index methodology in order to do that at controlled crossings. And so a PXO or a pedestrian crossover or a traffic signal light. In order to evaluate those, there is a warrant process that we can go through to make sure that they're utilized in a consistent basis where there is the need. And so this isn't necessarily a stopgap measure, but it's something that we can go through since we have the information. We can do that analysis to see if a higher order of traffic control is needed at that intersection or not.
Perfect. Further comments or questions? Kevin, I've heard parents ask for either one, and I think Councillor Wookie's found the same thing, is some say, we need a crossing guard, and others say, no, we need a crossover, right? And so I think doing this is going to make an awful lot of people happy on Peach Street, so perfect. And so you say we've changed the criteria a little bit on when we would do this. How did the crossing guard criteria change?
Through the mayor to council, the Ontario Traffic Council for Crossing Guards basically released a new document that introduced a different way of calculating the warrant, if you will, for a crossing guard, particularly at controlled crossings. So controlled crossings being your stowaway stops or PXOs or traffic signals. Our previous policy indicated that if one of those were in existence, that a crossing guard was not required. Whereas this policy says that doesn't necessarily mean the case. The important piece of this policy is that it's intended and designed to protect school-age children. So whether there's a PXO there or not, is it still safe enough? Do we need a crossing guard there? And so we use justification through numbers basically to make sure that we're consistently applying the same methodology across the city.
And in the use of a school crossing guard, it is just during the school year, September through till June?
Through the mayor to council, that's correct. And exclusive of any holidays that school may particularly have as well.
Okay, so it's again, a good discussion for parents to have that it's, although there's now a crossing guard there on your way to school and your way home from school, not all days when you're just out playing will it be there. Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. Second item tonight under this committee is an item relating to the St. Thomas Stormwater Management System 2025 Performance Report. A motion that reads that report ES 2626 relating to the St. Thomas Stormwater Management System 2025 Performance Report be received for information. Moved by Councillor Gibson, seconded by Councillor Clark.
Questions or comments on the stormwater report? Councillor Clark.
Thank you, Worship. The report mentions a couple different times the stormwater management flows being 80% TSE removal. And I'm just wondering what, I'm assuming TSS stands for some kind of cleaning or quality being removed. So that was my first question, what TSS stands for. And then the second one is, what would we have to do to get beyond the 80%? Or is that kind of the industry standard? Or are we above the industry standard? What do other municipalities do? Are they at 75% or 60% or 90%?
Through the mayor.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Through the mayor to Councillor Clark, that's a good question. And sorry about the technical jargon. TSS stands for total suspended solids. So the sediment that's suspended within the water that pollutes our downstream water courses if it's not removed appropriately. 80% TSS basically means that we're removing 80% of those total suspended solids before the water is released back into the natural water course. 80% is the enhanced level of treatment that is available or is prescribed basically through the MECP design criteria. You can design to a lower standard, but our standard requires 80%.
Go ahead, Councillor Clark.
And what would it take? I know it's always a trade-off. Like if you wanted to get to 90 or 100%, what kind of technology or costs would be involved for us to get to that level?
Go ahead.
Through the mayor to Councillor Clark, your beating me to the punch. Our stormwater master plan is getting close to wrapping up. And so some of those answers will be identified within that text. But basically, a treatment train approach would be another way to remove more solids. So where you would not just have a stormwater management pond, but you would also have an oil grit separator or a bioswale or some other low impact development in order to help remove additional sediment to increase that level from 80% to a higher level.
Great, go ahead.
So in the report that's being reviewed, would that be an option for us with the new plant coming online? That, is it being considered, or will it be an option that we'll be discussing later?
Mr. Joy?
Through the mayor to Councillor Clark, I just wanted to clarify, these are two separate things. This report's talking about stormwater management, whereas the treatment plan is dealing with wastewater. So I just want to make sure that distinction, but the stormwater management pond at the new wastewater treatment facility is being designed to the best standard that we have right now, which is 80% total suspended solid removal.
Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried.
Councillor Gibson, do you have an item you want to bring forward?
Thank you. Yes, I would like to bring a motion made to review the parking contract with our child care center over here on St. Catherine Street. The Legion's getting a little short on some parking, and we noticed the parking back in that area is not utilized at a high use. And we're just wondering if maybe we could look at that and see if we can get some more parking for our members at the Legion, because the parking over in our parking lot is getting less and less for the last couple of months. And we're just trying to see if we can utilize and get some help from the city on that. I also have a second item. I would like to also look at John Street, the back entrance of the church there. There's parking space there for 5 approximately. However, I know there's some space that we need to leave for emergency use. So I was just wondering if we could also look at that, a review on that street as well, to see if we can get a couple more cars in for some of our Legion members. Some of them have a difficulty walking a fair distance. If we can get 2 or 3 more vehicles that can park on that side of the street, on John Street, that would be very helpful to the members. Thank you.
So you asking Mr. Gillibeck to come back with a report on those?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
That would, go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you, Worship. Just to clarify for the members, so we've got review of parking on John Street, and the first item, just for my notes.
Yes. For John Street and for the St. Catherine Street parking lot. So I need.
St. Catherine Street parking lot.
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Now, am I correct, Kevin, that we did add 2 or 3 more parking, 2-hour parking or permit parking to the St. Catherine Street lot just recently, because we're finding a real lack of parking on it?
Through the mayor, that's correct. And I think what Councillor Gibson is asking us to do is review how utilized the rest of that parking is occurring, and to review the potential of on-street parking on the side where the church is located on John Street. Is that correct, Councillor Gibson?
That is correct. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, great. So it's not truly a motion, it's just a referral, Mr. Clerk?
Through you, Your Worship, this would be a motion that would require a mover and a seconder.
Okay.
So the draft motion would read that staff review and report back on methods to enhance parking on John Street and at the St. Catherine Street parking lot.
So
Moved
I have a mover.
Councillor Gibson, seconded by Councillor Clark.
Okay, further discussion or comment? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moving on to the final committee of the whole. We have an item regarding lease renewal, rent rate, and arrears relief recommendations for the inn and indwell community homes. A motion that reads that report SCSS 1026 related to a lease renewal, rent rate, and arrears relief recommendations for the inn and indwell community homes be received for information. And further, that council approve the monthly rent rates outlined in report SESS 1026, including removing annual increases effective immediately. And further, that council approve waiving the outstanding rent arrears owing to the city from the inn and Indwell Community Homes. And further, that council authorize staff to negotiate and enter into new and/or amended leases with the inn and Indwell Community Homes. Moved by Councillor Gibson, seconded by Councillor Wookie.
Questions or comments? Councillor Clark.
I'm just wondering why we're just catching this now. What happened here that that it's gone on for a number of years where the rent was supposed to go up and didn't?
City manager or Danielle? Go ahead.
Through your worship to council, I think there was a transition in staffing where they were doing a review and an audit of all the existing agreements, and it revealed that there was no increase on the rent that was invoiced, and so that was corrected, which then subsequently reviewed that the community group was unable to pay those funds at this time.
Go ahead.
Have we had discussions with the community groups in terms of how they're going to deal with this in the future? But I can see us maybe helping them out initially here, and there are two new operations where we've increased the number of services and the expectations on those running the places. But I'm just wondering long term how we're going to solve this problem.
City manager on that one? Or Danielle? All right. We'll take it all the way to the top. Ms. Nilsson, good to have you here tonight.
Good evening, Council. Thank you, Your Worship. Through Your Worship to Councillor Clark, corrective measures have been taken to ensure that any future occurrences of missed rents won't happen. And in the event that they do, we would take different measures to ensure that the city receives the payment that is required.
Councillor Taylor?
Thank you, Your Worship. Danielle, quick question. My understanding is the 5-year term is finished at the end of this year, or has it finished already?
Thank you for the question. Through Your Worship, I believe that the term for the inn has expired, and so we're looking at entering into a new lease. And for Railway City Lofts, it expires this year.
Okay. And then
Further question?
just a follow-up, I believe I read in here that we would not be implementing the typical 2.5% increase on any future leases being put in place. So what would be the term of those leases? What would we expect? Are they 5-year leases that we're going to renegotiate at 0 increase? Thank you.
Thank you. Through Your Worship, I would expect that the lease term would be 5 years. I don't know that we would look to extend it or shorten it. But yes, the recommendation to not increase it would apply to those new leases as well.
Further questions or comments? Councillor Kohler.
Thanks, Your Worship. As far as the arrears go, the only money that's owing is the applied rent increase that never took place. All the other rents have been paid, right?
Thank you for the question of clarification. Through Your Worship to you, Councillor Kohler, there actually are a few missing months of rent through the inn. It was an administrative error that was caught by the inn, but unfortunately their system for tracking those rent payments that were missed, their accounting system in general is quite basic, and it wasn't flagged until a few months of missed rent had occurred. By that time, because the inn operates under pretty tight financial circumstances month over month, it presented a challenge to the inn to repay those missed months' rent. It was flagged for the Director of Social Services, who recommended that we review it and bring a recommendation to Council.
Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the report? Any opposed? Carried. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Your Worship. That concludes Committee of the Whole. Council will now report back into Council. So next motion is to the recommendations, directions, and actions of Council in the Committee of the Whole as recorded in the minutes of this date be confirmed, ratified, and adopted. Moved by Councillor Gibson, seconded by Councillor Taylor.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. We have two items under reports of committees. The first is a heritage alteration permit for 600 Talbot Street. Motion that reads that report MHC 0626 relating to the Heritage Alteration Permit 600 Talbot Street be received for information. And further that council issue a heritage alteration permit for the property at 600 Talbot Street relating to application HAP 0626. Moved by Councillor Taylor, seconded by Councillor Clark.
Questions or comments on the Heritage Report? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. Second item is a designated heritage permit for 502 Talbot Street. A motion that reads that report MHC 0726 relating to the designated heritage permit 502 Talbot Street be received for information. And further that council issue a designated heritage permit for the property at 502 Talbot Street relating to application DHP 0226. Moved by Councillor Wookie, seconded by Councillor Clark.
Questions or comments? Perhaps we should share this as a heritage designation for a gate going up at Holy Angels Church. No further comment. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. We have a few items under communications tonight. The first is a resolution from Prince Edward County regarding Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act amendments. A letter has been received by from Catalina Blumenberg, Clerk, Prince Edward County, regarding amendments made to the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act through Bill 97, a Plan to Protect Ontario Act 2026. Second item tonight is a resolution, City of Kitchener Heritage Housing Building Grant. Copy of a letter addressed to the Honorable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, has been received from Amanda Fusco, Director of Legislative Services and City Clerk, City of Kitchener, regarding a Heritage Helping Building Grant program to encourage the creation of additional housing units in heritage buildings. The third item tonight is a resolution from the town of Plimpton, Wyoming, regarding fire service grant funding. A letter has been received from Lisa Smeekins, Executive Assistant Deputy Clerk, Town of Plimpton, Wyoming, regarding provincial grant funding for fire services. Your Worship, the fourth item tonight is an information piece. It's from Gino's Pizza, 417 Wellington Street, Unit 155A, an application for a liquor license. Application has been made to the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario by Gino's Pizza for a liquor license for its indoor area at 417 Wellington Street, Unit 155A, St. Thomas. Council may make representation to the Commission concerning this application. Your Worship, the final item tonight is an information piece from the Ontario Provincial Conservation Agency, Conservation Authority Consolidation Transition Committee. A letter has been received from Hassan Bassett, CEO, Ontario Provincial Conservation Agency, regarding transition committees to be implemented to assist with the consolidation of conservation authorities. Your Worship, that's all the communications for tonight. Is there any unfinished business or new business?
Councillor Baldwin-Sands.
Thank you. Just to let council members know that tonight is the night. It's the first night that we will be hosting our Discovery Week students. They are first-year med students at Schulich School. Tonight, we're going to be down at Dalewood and showing them what a gem we have right in the middle of the city. Tomorrow, there will be a dinner that we will be, we've been all invited to for Wildflowers, at Wildflowers. And then the third, the Elgin Federation of Agriculture is hosting the students for that night. And they're going to have some of the emergency services from the county do presentations to the med students. It's a very intense week for our students, we know, but we know that they also let us know that this is one of the highlights and are very full of gratitude when they return back to their medical school studies. That being said, we also did have our meeting this morning, and I was wondering if our city manager can share one of the announcements that happened this morning that we are going to hear about very, very soon around the council table. Thank you.
City manager.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to Council, I'm pleased to share at today's Health Recruitment Partnership meeting, 4 new physicians were approved for funding, which will be in front of this council next week. So those are 4 full-time physicians in our community.
4 new, super. We seem to be doing exceptionally well on physician recruitment at the moment. And And it doesn't happen without the number of people that are working together across the county that make that happen. So happy to attend those meetings if I keep getting great new news like this. Perfect. I expect some of the young first-year students who are here this week having a great deal of fun in St. Thomas and Elgin, but also getting to work at our hospital and with some of the other docs in our town too while they're here. As a first-year student in med school, it's a great, many of them brag more about what they got to do at the hospital today than, good fun at Dalewood, but we know where they're really having the most fun. Any other new business or unfinished business? I will simply say that today we also had a flag raising for Accessibility Week, and Red Shirt Day is the 3rd. We award them today for the flag raising too. And many other, tomorrow is Deaf and Blind Proclamation tomorrow, flag raising. And that's, it's a lot more fun to do these flag raisings when we have 20 degrees and sunshine outside than some of the ones we do in January and February. So thank you very much for planning them through the better months of the year. And that's all I have under unfinished and new business too.
Thank you, Your Worship. We have no public notices tonight, no notices of motion. So we will be moving into a closed session. We have a motion that reads that this meeting be closed to deal with a labor relations matter, staff overtime strategies, 3 matters of a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality. These items are municipal airport, city animal services shelter, and intermunicipal servicing, and a personal matter about identifiable individual. Committee appointment at 5:31 p.m.
Councillor Baldwin Sands. Oh, so you're moving? All right.
Seconded by Councillor Gibson.
Great. As we move into closed session, I'll let the crowd in the gallery tonight say thank you for you're coming out. The number watching us at home streaming or even later in this week watching the streaming of this council will now be moving into closed session. We'll rise from closed session to come back to vote on the things that happened in closed session and to do our bylaws here and then adjourn for the evening. So all in favor of the closed session? That carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. We will now reconvene into open session. Motion that reads that council now rise from closed session at 6:50 p.m. Further, that staff proceed as directed on the closed session items dealing with staff overtime strategies, municipal airport, city animal services shelter, and intermunicipal servicing. And further, that closed session item dealing with committee appointment be received for information. Moved by Councillor Taylor, seconded by Councillor Wookie.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? Carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. Now we have motions in regards to the bylaws. First motion is that leave be granted to bring in the bylaws. Moved by Wookie, seconded by Councillor Baldwin Sands.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. We have a motion on the floor moved by Councillor Wookie, seconded by Councillor Baldwin Sands that the bylaws be now read a first time, referred to council and the committee of the whole, and read a second time.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
May we have the first bylaw?
The first bylaw tonight is a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the meeting held on the first day of June 2026.
Questions or comments? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next bylaw.
Second and final bylaw tonight is a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute and affix the seal of the corporation to a certain agreement between the corporation of the city of St. Thomas and John G. Gorris Holdings Incorporated. This is for the St. Thomas Municipal Airport lease.
Questions or comments? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. We have a motion on the floor moved by Councillor Wookie, seconded by Councillor Baldwin Sands, that the report of council and the committee of the whole on the bylaws be received and adopted. The same be read a third time, engrossed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. Final item tonight is adjournment. A motion that we do now adjourn at 6:52 PM. Counselor Baldwin Sands, seconded by Counselor Gibson.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. We are adjourned.